Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and we're going to be doing another unboxing today from Big Bad Toy Store. So here we are, and the box on my doorstep was actually a lot better packed and sealed than Mattel's box. The box is actually so flimsy and barely a piece of tape holding it together for the Mattel box. This Big Bad Toy Store, the box, it looks a little more, it just looks a little more themed and exciting, adventurous. It's got a nice print on it, and it was sealed perfectly. And then this little sticker popped out of it as soon as I opened it up. Pretty cool. The only downside, so not everything's perfect. There are ups and downs of ordering from Mattel, ordering from Big Bad, ordering from Walmart or Target, or finding them in store. And for Big Bad, especially with Motu Origins, you're gonna wait. You're gonna wait a while to get these figures. I put these figures on pre-order, knowing that it might take months for them to get it in, because I wasn't looking to buy them right away. So I just thought, oh, perfect, I'll put them on pre-order at Big Bad, and then when I'm ready to start collecting again, they'll probably go into my pile of loot. So these actually came a lot earlier, or maybe I just took too long, but one day I just got the email that they were in stock, and then suddenly I was charged for them, and then I was like, wow, that was fast. But actually, I don't think it was very fast. I think I just kind of lost track of the toy collecting. But all in all, it all turned out okay. And I got these guys, so let's open it up. First time laying eyes on these figures. A lot of bubble wrap, just like with the WWE figures. They go crazy with the bubble wrap. So I think that's really cool. Whoa, it's like Christmas. What do we got here? Oh wow, look, Leech. The newest version of Leech, the Origins version. It's got this really cool sticker right there, this like holographic sticker on there, 40. It's unpunched. Some great graphics by Axel Jimenez. He's got an extra head. Wow. So this is Leech of the Evil Horde, and actually the vintage version of Leech is one of the first figures that I ever got when I was a kid in the late 80s. And he was like either a hand-me-down or a thrift store find. But I had the original one. I didn't get him in package though. Yeah, it just bringing back so many memories. It's just like perfected the original figure, basically, is what they did. And by adding that new head there that doesn't have the suction cup on it, I think that's just kind of like sort of the topping, on a great figure. Here's the back art, but he's fighting Tongue Lasher there. So Leech is from the Evil Horde, and Tongue Lasher is from the Snake Men. He's either from the Snake Men or he's from Skeletor's evil minions, evil warriors. But there he is in all his sucking glory, I guess. So in the back of the card here, so you see we get a new Snout Spout, we get a new Mantenna with 4 actual legs instead of the 2 legs with the illusion of 4, as opposed to the original. We get the 2002 He-Man. And then we get Pighead from Rulers of the Sun. And then we get the Skeletor from I think it's called 200X that they call it now, but yeah, that was like the short-lived series back in the early 2000s, I believe. And another Roton. I had the vintage Roton, And I heard that the Origins, they're not able to fit into their vintage Roton, but we'll see. And if it doesn't, maybe I'll just get this new version. It's a crisp packaged toy. It's just it's very nicely done here. All right, let's put this down and move on to the next one. What else do we got here? Doing this with one hand, sorry. Snout Spout. I also have the vintage Snout Spout. This guy's a lot bigger. The height is like, for these figures, the Origin figures are somewhere between vintage and classics. They're the missing link basically between vintage and classics. You can use classics weapons easily with the Origins, and then you can kind of spread their legs apart and have them be the same height as the vintage. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds there. We got another holographic sticker. Some more great artwork on the front. A lot of nice detail on the elephant head. And then you got an extra elephant head. And you got his little pump backpack. This is pretty cool. So what is Snout Spout? Is he like a fireman or something? So he comes with an axe. He comes with like this sort of hydrant backpack. So I guess you could say he's kind of like a firefighting elephant man. I mean, I would love to have been at that meeting with the Mattel executives or whoever thought of this character when they were going through the characters. Alright, let's take a look at the back. Really cool. So who we got here? We got King Hiss. And who was that there? Cobra Khan? In the back? I think that's Cobra Khan. And of course our hero, Snout Spout. And here I'll show you how to spray the water from, apparently it's stored in his backpack and sprayed through the nose. I have the vintage figure, but I never really used it because I didn't want any, it's such an old figure, I didn't want any problems, with the water or deterioration or anything. And we have the same figures on the back. This is exciting, guys. Can't wait to open these up. Let's get to it. So here they are. Origins Leech and Snout Spout. So let's start with Origins Leech. He's got a very animalistic head. Got his sword crossbows in the way. So he's got a very animalistic head, much like the Filmation cartoon. It's a lot more detail than the vintage one, and I do appreciate the extra head. And they do give you some extra hands that look like some crazy ET hands. I think it's really cool. And then you got the design, the body is very similar to vintage. It's got the red board crossbow, of course. The big bulky body design with a seemingly leather belt here. Really good detail. He's got the suction cup for feet, which is different because the vintage one is just hard plastic. It's not suction. So now you got the suction cups on his feet, and which I'm probably were better on glass. Can't really do it on wood, which is just made out of wood. So, but he's a really cool figure. Very interesting update from the vintage. So here's the vintage. And vintage is a little more darker, like dark green. He's a little more menacing looking in my opinion. He's got more detail in the back of his neck. The Origins version has got a different kind of scaling and there's more articulation, of course, but with the vintage one, there's just something about it that's just very murky. And I guess there's some kind of air release or something on his back. I don't quite know. But Leech was one of my first Motu figures in the late 80s when I was a kid. His feet are hard plastic, unlike the Origins version. Of course, the water, I guess, yeah, you put water in him or something. So you just dunk the figure in water, and then you press the button on the back, and then the water spurts out. I'm not going to try it with these vintage ones because they're hard to come by. And this is how I found it in the collection. It's got the maroon board crossbow, as opposed to the more bright red with the Origins version. So here are the extra offerings for Leech. We get a vintage inspired head. And we get 2 more suction cup hands to peg in there. You can take off his alien hands, but I like the alien hands. And you do a quick comparison. To the heads. The Origins is a little more comical version, but it's a very good try. A very nice dedication to the vintage version. Not quite the same design or pattern for the teeth, but very similar. Just a little more comical, but I think it's still cool. Leech is overall one of my favorite characters from the Horde. Very cool. Look at this guy. We have Snout Spout Origins. He's got a lot more articulation than the vintage version, that's for sure. He can look up into the distance. What's that? A fire? Is he a firefighter or something? Kind of looks like a firefighter. So he's got all the makings of one. He's got the axe. He's got the water capabilities. He's got, the water tank, whatever you want to call it. His head, or mask or helmet, whatever he is, I'm guessing he's some kind of a cybernetic elephant, magical Eternian man dude. So it's more of like a steel armor plating look than the vintage version's more of like a robotic circuitry look. This is more of like medieval times and stuff. So it won't be uncommon for me to play with this dude along with my King Arthur stuff. So, because that's also Mattel. Really cool detail on this figure. I admire the colors very much. Orange and like some kind of a fuchsia for the gloves. Yeah, they're kind of running low on ideas when this guy came around, but he's, as an adult, I appreciate him a lot more. So here's the vintage version of Snout Spout. Like I said, is like got a lot of circuitry, robotic stuff going on, but in the back of his head, it's more of like the steel plating like you would see in the front of the Origins version. Let's see. You can fall down on me. So his joints are pretty tight for his legs, and they're original, so that he doesn't fall over very much. So it's very much like the steel plating that you would find on there we go, on the Origins version. So I don't have the peg. I'm guessing there's like a little peg in there for water, and then there's a button right there that you push, and the water comes out through the front through his snout spout. So right here you can see it's like deteriorated, like the nozzle on the nose. I haven't tried, but I guess the kid who owned it before me had a lot of fun with it. But I am not going to try to put these vintage figures in the water. These Leech and Snout Spout, that they require water to play with. These vintage versions, I'm not going to try it. Yeah, his head's coming off and you can hear something rattling. It's okay. So here are the offerings for Snout Spout, the extra offerings. I went ahead and modeled them on this Eternian guard. So it's an extra head that you can swap out, and it looks like the vintage version. So his Snout Spout is nice and clean and brand new, straight. And the backpack, which keeps falling off, you get the idea. So it's a squishier backpack, and I'm guessing you can possibly put water in it. I'm guessing you dunk the head underwater and you squeeze it, and then the water goes in through the snout, and then it goes into the backpack, and then you can squeeze it reverse way. I'm just guessing, so I haven't even read the instructions, so I don't know. This guy wants to fall down. So anyway, there is the offerings on Snout Spout. So let's take one more look at these badasses of Eternia. You got Leech.
Where's He-Man?
And you have the brave Snout Spout. Don't worry, guys. Snout Spout's on the job. I don't know if those are their actual voices. I'm just making one up. So, anyway, these are these guys in a nutshell. They're awesome. They're brand new for Mattel. And I'm going to go take some super cool photos with these guys. So,
I'll see you later.